It's been a while, so let's get into it. So Larry, is the tanker industry what you thought it would be?
Um, Say it's the tanking industry. Is what I thought it'd be. What tanking, basically offered. I knew that you had different types of tanking. You know, um, as far as chemical, you have some food grade. You have what they call bulkmatic. And I really, at first didn't know the difference on and which one carried what, you know. So as I got into tanking, just finding out, all trailers are not the same. Definitely. All trailers cannot, hold the same product, or they don't, they hold different products. And is certain trailers that, basically can only hold certain type of products. Just throwing one out there, let's say milk. Milk coming from a dairy farm, and different trailers have baffles. So just imagine, and some have baffles that separate, and you have some baffles that have holes in them to to slow down the surge. So just imagine a a trailer full of milk that had baffles with the holes. It'll probably make what? Probably cheese. Going back and forth or going back and forth.
They're turning.
It's turning, or it'll probably make butter. So just learning different types of trailers and different chemicals. So like tanking, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. When I first came here, just going through orientations, or just looking you guys up, at first, I didn't know what to expect. So just being in the tanking industry, no, I did not know what to expect.
So, so going back to that first question, are you glad with your decision to pick chemical tanking opposed from like food grade?
Um, well, I haven't did food grain, so I don't know the pros and the cons, because with food grain you could be hauling something that's liquid, or far as what's a good example for liquid, far as food, you know, um, hmm, I know they grind up, different, animals, not to be, disgusting about it, you know, they haul, dry food, far as corn, far as, maybe flour. I don't know what the food industry,
Yeah.
far as tanking, I haven't went that far.
I've only been within the chemical world
Okay, okay.
for my entire life.
Understood, understood.
Before I was born, my dad hauled watermelons.
Understood.
So,
Wow.
and then asphalt. So, what is something about tanker work that you didn't think of before becoming a tank driver?
Hmm. You said, what does tanking work? Mm, well, I could easily say on how the offloading process worked. You know, um, obviously, getting product in, you have to put it in. But actually, you know, finding out how product is taken off of the tanker or loaded off of the tanker. I found out that you have, many ways. You do what we call an air offload, where you apply, building air pressure inside the tank, and it forces it out, you know, and you can do nitrogen, far as, when you do nitrogen, you working with a product that's flammable. You never want to, I realize that you never want to, basically offload a flammable with air.
That'd be bad.
Absolutely. So you either offload, the third thing is a pump. You can do a pump offload. And most flammable is, you use either nitrogen or you use a pump. So those was the two things that, well, the one thing that I was just wondering, how did product get off of the tank? Or out of the tank?
And like you said, there's many different ways, and a lot of people don't know that.
Or I have learned that you can use gravity.
Mm-hmm.
So the guys that's hauling fuel, they use gravity, where they basically gravity feed the tank that's up under the station,
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that. Yep.
And as we're going through these questions, if anybody who's watching has anything, leave a comment down below, because Larry can answer it. So a little background on Larry is he came from van work, right?
Actually, high cubes.
High cubes prior to coming here. So the type of questions I ask him, a lot of them will be like differentiating between what he did before or any other type of different industry work, opposed from what we do here, which is chemical hazmat tanking.
Absolutely.
Okay, since we're at the end of winter, fingers crossed on that one.
We had a great winter. Here in Indiana, Northwest, Chicago, we had a great winter this year. We didn't do as much, shoveling.
No.
We actually had a really calm, smooth winter.
So hopefully spring is okay then.
Understood, because it did have a possibility of snowing in March.
It's hot. It's warm today. We're cooking up here right now.
Absolutely.
So, do you like tanker work more than high cube or anything that you drove prior to coming to MC?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And the reason why, I will pick, basically, tanker over, dry van or, high cube. And for the ones that don't know what high cube is basically what they call containers. The containers, that comes on and off rail carts, and, shipping containers that, that comes off, the boats. Far as do I like tanking better? Absolutely. The reason why I like tanking better is because it's, again, the number one thing that I found that tanking helped me out with is becoming a safer driver. You have that surge and it's constantly moving. So when you in a manual, you're able to time your shifting. Make your shifting more smooth. And if it's not smooth, the reaction of that surge is going to tell you. It's gonna hit you like a ton of bricks if you shifting kind of harsh. So it definitely made me a safer driver. And once you get your shifting down packed and you're able to work with it instead of against it, because that surge, if you shift in the wrong way, it has the possibility of throwing you forward, and it also has the possibility of holding you back. and it definitely made me a safer driver. And just the different techniques and the different ways of offloading, it is I love it every time I offload. Because I'm learning something different almost every day, or I'm visiting the same places, almost every week. So you learning something new every week. You delivering to places, where they take pride in what they do. So absolutely. Do I see myself going, back to containers or dry van? I'm gonna just say now, absolutely not. I actually, see myself, you know, finishing, my driving career of undertaking.
I've heard that a lot, that kind of once you get into this world and this lifestyle of any kind of tanker work, whether it's hazmat, non-haz, food grade, it's these drivers that do tank work are kind of a different breed of drivers. That's why they call themselves tanker mafia and tanker yankers, because they're like in their own little world. And a lot of them, liquid's easy. Yes, it can be dangerous, but it's easy. Because if you don't have a product that's super heavy, it basically unloads itself. It needs very little help from you if you have the correct equipment and correct trailer. But a lot of people would prefer to stay within tank work for the duration of their career. Because we've had guys come over that did van, drive-in, bulk, and they've preferred staying with the chemical tank side of it. Everybody just says it's easier.
And most people, they first thing is they get discouraged, because of the surge. Not all not all tankers or not all tanks or trailers, are straight trailers, meaning that they have baffle, meaning they have, compartments in there. So you don't see the surge, or you don't feel it. And, like I said, with tanking, it absolutely makes you a safer driver, where you being more cautious, on, driving, even how you maneuver. Because you tend to see a lot of, even, with dry vans, they just drive like a maniac, not to, throw, any, shade on my fellow truckers, but, with tanking, you driving nice and smooth, and you basically staying in your lane, and you basically, with any trucker, they should be scanning far and wide. They should be anticipating, lights, and they should be anticipating, someone getting off of the highway and someone is coming on. But with tanking, I just find it, very, interesting, from, different inspections, from, pre-tripping my trailer, offloading, making sure that, that even the weight of it, you actually have to be, kind of have some wisdom, on, the proper measurements, inside of your trailer, and then how much your trailer could take, far as, filling it up and things like that. Sometimes as drivers, we have to, load ourselves, depending on, where you're going. Sometimes we have to measure. Sometimes we have, tanking, we have to heat the product up. And sometimes we'll use our truck, transit heat, to heat those up, or we use steam. So with tanking, is never a dull moment. So with, high cubes and dry vans, You know, majority of the time, you know, you either got live loaded or you did a drop and hook, you know, and you just keep going. And it's more thinking into tanking. It's more, you know, kind of problem solving, you know, and you know, just being on top of your game and something that, you know, gives me a challenge on, you know, a week to week basis, you know, I enjoy that, you know, because I like, you know, the physical part of it. You know, as a trucker, you know, we tend to, you know, always be sitting down and less movement. And a lot of our, you know, trucking, you know, in this trucking world, you know, our health sometimes, you know, don't be the best. And I feel like tanking, it always keeps me moving. And, you know, I'm a heavy guy, I'm a big guy. And, you know, lifting those hoses, climbing up the ladder, you know, that's my exercise. You know, so I'm not always in a driver's seat, you know, sitting there or dropping and hooking and being there for 5 or 10 minutes. You know, sometimes it takes me hours to offload. You know, sometimes it might take me 45 minutes. You know, it just depends on the product. So I like the, you know, the thinking and the physical, you know, work that tanking, like basically, you know, has to offer.
Johnny J, if you're still in here, what do you haul with your trailer? Yeah, this guy's been busy. I haven't seen him for 3 weeks. That's that's why we haven't done a live. But he's been on different work than what he was normally on. So he's getting a little more experience with new and different customers. Smoothbore trailer.
What is a smooth board?
I don't know. I just know what we have.
Let's see.
While we wait if he's still on. So my last question for Larry for the day, unless if anybody else that is in the live has anything else they want to add. What would you say that would set tanker drivers apart from the other drivers in this industry? I guess that kind of goes with something we asked earlier.
I mean, again, like I think that's as you said, what sets, you know, basically tankers apart from, you know, the other, you know, basically divisions. Again, I just think it makes you a safer driver. And it makes you a safer driver. And again, like I just explained, the physical, you know, the physicality of, you know, the job, you know, because again, like a lot of our drivers, you know, are dealing with, you know, things like, you know, sleep apnea, you know, they're dealing with things like sleep apnea. They dealing with, you know, being, you know, borderline diabetic. You know, they dealing with, you know, different health issues that because like we're not, you know, having that physical part in our life because we're constantly either sitting down or driving for many hours, you know, eating and taking our 10-hour break and immediately laying down because we have to get up after that 10, you know. So, you know, with tanking, at least, you know, even, you know, flatbeds, you know, flatbed has, you know, some work to do as well, you know, even tarping, you know. So I just won't say that, you know, tanking is the only, you know, division and, you know, of trucking that's, you know, that's physical, you know, flatbeds and the overhaul, you know, the oversized, you know, haulers, they actually, you know, cranking their chains and tarping what they need to tarp. And it's just what, you know, dry vans, you know, and high cubes is it's mainly sitting down. You know, it's mainly sitting down and backing, bumping up into a dock and closing your doors, maybe sliding your tandems, and there you go. You off, and you know you might have to get some straps to secure and make sure like the pallets don't move anywhere. But 9 times out of 10, whoever is loading that is doing that, and you have to make sure that it's done. But I just think tanking is like one of the most awesome trucking jobs that's out there.
I'd agree with you. I mean, it's the only experience I have. Grew up in it. My entire family has been a tank driver of some sort, whether it was working here, another chemical hauling company, Clean Harbors. They've all done some type of tank work. And to me, it's really the only industry I would want to be associated with. Once you understand the rules of it, it's simple to understand.
Absolutely.
But liquid can make one nervous, especially knowing what I know working in the office, and then when you're driving down the road, and especially around here, we live in a very high traffic area over
Absolutely.
here. And people in stoplight after stoplight not very far from each other, and somebody always wants to get in front of you.
Absolutely.
That makes me nervous.
And when you driving a tanker and you driving in, major cities and things like that, and that's why some of these major cities went to automatics, because it's not all that starting and stopping, and far as tanking, the driver could concentrate more on driving than driving and shifting, and that's quite understandable. But with that automatic, just having, the manual, just having, control, more control and more timing, even going up a hill. Because with those automatics, nothing against them, I'll drive them, but I prefer a manual, because with those automatics, they tend to jump gears. You tend to jump gears, and it's ran by a computer, so it's, man, if you put too much force on that pedal, you forcing that computer to do something different than what you want it to do. So when you have that manual, you're basically having complete control of what's going on. And far as in the inner cities with tanking, take your time. If anyone that's behind you, on the side of you, is feel like you're going too slow, let them go around. Give yourself plenty of time to get to your destination. Trip plan, because as truckers, some truckers tend to want to go. But if you trip plan and look at your weather, and they even have traffic updates, so this is 2023, so you should be able to, even if electronics go out, you should be able to read a map. You should be able to know where you're going, and how to get there. And even if you're traveling, you should have at least two to three routes that you can take just in case of an emergency. So you still have to go by the basic, on how to plan your trip and what's a alternative route. So all that takes is into play.
Years and years and years ago, before every driver had a GPS, and at the time we still had flip phones.
Oh, flip phones.
I used to pull out a map and find where the last exit was, and I would have to call the facility and get directions.
Oh, wow.
From 3 different points from around the exit. It's been years since I've had to do that. But that's how drivers used to get directions from us. And hopefully they'd be able to read a map to know if there was an accident or a road closure, they could figure out how to get there.
Understood.
We have some guys that don't know how to read a map, and they rely heavily on the GPS. GPS isn't always truck route friendly. Even the Rand McNally ones are not always truck friendly on the roads.
Absolutely, and just using electronics and GPSs. You have some that if the weather is a little nasty out there, it'll lag. Especially if it's nice and cloudy. If it's raining and nice and cloudy, sometimes that GPS, it's not going to work like a beautiful sunny day. So again, like, just, plan ahead. Plan ahead and, know a couple of routes and, get her done.
Now I know the last couple weeks you've gone to quite a few new places for yourself. How have you looked up directions or trip planned for that?
I definitely trip plan. I mean, I trip plan. I mean, I will, look at Google Maps. I will look in the satellite mode. I want to look at the street view. Like, I want to, see the completely layout of, of this establishment. And, 9 times out of 10, because we do have that part of technology, and it's able to, you've been to enough places, you can tell, like, oh, it's a little guard shack right here, so, hey, that must be my exit. And also, pay attention to the signs, once you get in that facility, because majority of these companies say truck entry, versus employee entry. So everything comes into play, but I definitely trip plan. And if I had a couple of, buddies that actually went there, co-workers, I will call them up as well, and ask them how this place operates and, what I need to look for. So, it's just doing your homework. So, absolutely, I went to a couple of different places, this weekend where never been, and just looking at, the map, just reading if, seeing, if it's directly off the highway, how far off, and, reading my signs, making sure that I'm not driving down a no truck, area. So, definitely you definitely have to rely on different things and technology and your eyes. Absolutely.
Are you, as of right now, February 10th, 2023, are you 100% more confident in what you've learned here and what you do every day than what you were a year ago?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I definitely, have confidence, but I never try to be overconfident, because, once you overconfident, you start to make little errors, little mistakes.
100%.
And, those little mistakes can be big mistakes, so am I at a point of time right now versus a year ago where, I feel a little comfortable? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I'm still learning.
So that's all the questions I have for Larry today, unless if anybody in the comments has anything to say. But I am going to make a video about this because we are hiring. We're not hiring for local, but we are hiring for regional and over the road with very immediate openings right now. We're in desperate need of drivers with a Class A CDL with a hazmat endorsement. We would like a minimum of a 6-month tanker experience But if that is something that interests you, we are located in Northwest Indiana, about 20 miles outside of Chicago, right off 94. If, like I said, if it's something that interests you, we have a website, www.mctanklines.net. You can fill out an application on the career page. So we also have a Facebook page, just MC Tanklines. I believe it's MC Tanklines 1020. So again, if it's something that interests you, we have immediate openings. And again, we are located in Northwest Indiana, based all the way at the very top. So short and sweet, guys. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend. Thanks for joining.
Did you know this is back?